Tell me about, you're working with some college athletes and NIL. There's a lot of mystery around that as well. Maybe
Mhm.
you talk about it from your perspective and what you've seen just in the last few years and how it's grown.
Yes, I think the best way to describe it is that it's the wild, wild west. So my comforting words would be, don't worry if you don't fully understand it, because most people don't, because it is changing so quickly. It was what, just almost 4 years ago now that it was first introduced, and it was state by state. I mean, it has changed so much in the last 4 years, and it is continuing to change even now. So I think, the biggest thing is schools are trying to keep up. They're trying to stay competitive. And now a lot of these brands and different colleges are talking to student athletes as early as ninth grade, which is just crazy to me, because I don't know how you could, at that age, know where you want to be 4 years from now. So I do think that side is a little unfortunate, that they're putting these decisions on these kids that are 15 years old, and waving money around, in some cases big, a lot of commas. I do think it is a little concerning that of how young it's going, but that just almost reinforces why this education is needed at the high school level. And from my knowledge, to most of the high school and college programs that I've talked to, there's no required or embedded financial literacy education. And so I think there is a huge need for that. I also think, there's, with the transfer portal, I'm sure you've kind of heard a little bit about that. Athletes can basically jump around to any school. They don't have to sit out for a year like they used to. And a lot of different schools are just saying, we can pay you X amount if you come and play for us. And so it really has just changed the dynamic of college athletics. And therefore, creeping into high school, I think it's starting to change some of the dynamics in high school athletics. And so the more that parents can be informed about that, and just kind of aware of what is actually happening out there, I think the more prepared the kids can be. I was just watching last week, I posted on this, but it was Arch Manning. He's the Texas quarterback. His dad was doing an interview and basically was saying, if you're choosing to go to a school just for money, it's probably going to be, a mistake. And his advice to Arch, now obviously he is, very talented, could go wherever he wanted. And that's not the case for most people. But he was like, I want you to think of worst case scenario. If you threw 3 picks in a game, your girlfriend broke up with you, and you have an exam the next day, would you still want to be at the school? Would you still be happy at the school? Which was so refreshing for me to hear, because I think a lot of the headlines have been about around people chasing money, and these athletes chasing money, which I do think money is part of the equation. Don't get me wrong, but it is not the sole deciding factor, in my opinion, of where a kid should go to school, because things happen,